Shell used to hang out at the Glazer Brothers studios, which was also known as Hillbilly Central. And Hazel Smith was the receptionist there, and Tom Paul was doing a lot of things. It was a really cool hang, and they had a back stairway you could come in and go up the studio, and he'd go in there late at night, and I was a dobro player, and he and I would do demos for just hours and hours, and Waylon would be around part of the time with that, and then Waylon had just lost his foot to diabetes, and I was asked to do a long interview with Waylon for a online publication back then, and once it all got done, they weren't quite sure what to do it because Waylon was being very open about his thoughts about the contemporary music at that time, which was skinny-ass guys in leather pants, and I'm not going to name names, but he felt like most of them sounded like they were singing through a box fan. That was his description. People don't realize Bobby Bare was the one who brought Waylon Jennings here from Arizona. Bobby Bare was the one who, really kept Shell going when everyone else in Nashville, RCA made, or didn't make it, but they said, Bare, you can't continue doing these mermaid songs and Marie Laveau and all this stuff. Do an entire album of Bob McDill songs, which he did, which had some great songs on it, but they just, Shell stuff was still a little controversial for that crowd. And Bear had been the one who invited Billy Joe to come here. Bear had already produced and recorded the entire old Five and Dimer album before Chris came in. And, those songs were just so good. In fact, Charlie, I want to say, the only co-write on that is a song called Bottom Dollar. The Billy Joe and Charlie. And Billy Joe was just the sweetheart of a big old Texas kind of a guy. He was driving his van. Brenda was, a Texas woman. She was great. Eddie was about probably 11 or 12 years old. And on Sunday mornings, I had a little apartment that I was renting for $40 a month directly across from Tree Publishing on 17th. The van would pull up and there'd be Billy Joe knocking on the door going, you want to go see a movie? You want to do this and that? And it was just that kind of a hang. He and I played a couple of shows where I played some dobro and stuff like that. We never really tried to write, but then he was not a co-writer, hardly with anybody. I mean, he did not need my help, And every time you see him, he'd have some new songs. Just go, man, it was just so great. But, Nashville was scared to him. He was a large person who, if he had a point to make, there's no question that you might want to give those copyrights back. That's all I'm going to say, okay? You might not want to fight this man over his creative work, all right? But what a wonderful guy. I mean, in the future, he's going to be just like Shell and Prime. People will look at that body of work and start going, why didn't I ever know about this song or that song? Because there's some wonderful songs that if they were the only Billy Joe song you ever heard, it would still be the best song you heard that year. He was a notch above, He was definitely appreciated by people who knew good songs. Waylon was a real tough judge of material. And when that record came out, it was definitely kind of ground shattering. And, those guys, we talked about Mac's Cafe a while back. If you went into Mac's Cafe, there'd be Tom Paul and Waylon putting thousands of dollars into pinball machines there night after night. those guys were always around, you know,
Yeah.
if they were in town. And I remember, I forget who was playing at the Exit Inn, but one time I was there when Waylon and Shell came in. It was like Jenkins and Silverstone. Those were their aliases at the time. And, you know, down to earth people. And country music back then, you knew, you know, it's like Waylon starts out with the Buddy Holly and this and that and winds up in Arizona playing for Patsy Montana, and the Bear hears him and brings him here. If you were into country music, you had a lifelong career. If we could pull up the video of We Are Young Country from 1988, nobody still has it. Maybe Alan Jackson still has a career. You know, and when was the last time he was in the charts? I remember Johnny Carson saying that television is the only industry that eats its young. Try the music industry. I've always been a reader. I've had a bookstore here now for 20 years. I felt that, you know, Nashville fulfilled a dream for me. The least I can do is have a place where words are important, and hopefully a songwriter or someone who just loves the language can come to.
Maybe when people are traveling from far away to Nashville, they might stop in and say hi to you and take a look around.
Oh, I'd love that. Like I said, we're Rhino Books. I'm glad we're here, and they appreciate that we're really different from other shops. I love it when friends or couples come in together and they start going, "Have you read this?